Very good morning to one and all. Let us come to ninth biology. Regarding ninth biology, so far we discussed about that 1 to 7 chapters which are entirely different from one to other topics. Is clear, children? Of course, we are having the correlation of first 4 chapters. Why? Because they are discussing about the cell and the group of cells, like the study of cell we call as cytology or cell biology, the study of tissues as we call as histology. Next, another topic, diversity in living organisms. There we learn about the need of classification. That means entire the diversity of living organisms that we call as is a branch of biology which is deals with the study of classification that we call as a taxonomy. Next, of course, we are having the sense organs and animal behavior. I mean that in entire 9th standard we are going to study about a different concepts when we are compared to the 8th standard. So, of course, in biology we are having a vital concept which are related to living organisms. Why? Because the food is the prime source or the chief source of getting the energy, mainly for growth and repair, and to maintain the consistency of the body temperature. Consistency of our body temperature, we need food. So, regarding food or agriculture, already in 6th standard, first chapter, we learn about our food. In 7th standard, we learn about our food components. I mean that ingredients like the carbohydrates, the energy giving food substances, proteins, the body building structures, fats, the energy storing substances like this, roughages are our protective food materials. So we learn about our food components in a 7th standard. In 8th class, the 8th chapter, already we discussed about that production and management of food from the plants. So without any proper management techniques, we can't get a sufficient amount of production. So how to get a high yielding? That is a big task. Why? Because day by day increasing of population, that means overpopulation causing to the food crisis. So how to meet the demand of the global food crisis? By increasing this food production. So how it is addressed? That is the question. That is the lesson of challenges in improving agricultural products. So in 8th standard, already we learn about production and management of food from the plants. I mean that we are getting the food from the plants cultivation. So here we learn about see what is meant by crop, what is meant by crop, and what is meant by agriculture, and what are short-term crops and what are long-term crops. Next, we call that seasons like Kharif season, Rabi season, whereas the middle between these Rabi season and Kharif season we are having the early summer season that we call as a Javid season. Let us come to the first. Just we have to recall the concepts what we learn in that 8th standard regarding agriculture. So agri means the plants which are cultivated or cultivation. Culture, it's not a new technique. We are following from that the primitive man. We are following the same culture from the primitive man. Of course, some science and technology, some modern technology we are inserting, and we are getting that the high yielding by the hybridization techniques or genetic engineering or some the revolutions like green revolution. So we are getting the high yielding by this process. Next, what is mean by crop? Crop is nothing but the cultivation of same type of plants, the huge number of plants, which is mainly meant for the useful food products, that we call as a crop. For example, paddy crop means we are cultivating the paddy plants in a huge number, which is useful for our food products, mainly for our food products, that we call as a crop. The process of cultivation of these crops are called as agriculture. The process of cultivation of crop is called as agriculture. Next, what do you mean by short-term crops? Based on the time duration of the plants from sowing to harvesting. If suppose the plant that means the crop takes below 100 days, means 3 to 4 months, on or below 3 to 4 months duration, that we call as a short-term crops. For example, these paddy means rice and wheat. These are all already we learned in the 8th standard. The plants are the crops which requires more than 180 days, means 6 months, more than 6 months of duration, 180 days of duration for harvesting. These type of crops are called as long-term crops. For example, sugarcane and coconut. These are called as mango. For example, every year summer season we are getting these mangoes. So such type of crops are called as long-term crops. So already we discussed about the seasons. Next, already in 8th standard we learn about the agricultural practices. Agricultural practices from sowing the seeds up to harvesting, or after completion of harvesting we are going to preserve the grains entire that year up to the next coming crop. So all these concepts are when we have to recall from the 8th class basics. Then we move to the 9th standard. The topic is challenges in improving agricultural products. So what are the challenges as a farmer is facing while cultivating the crop? That is very, very important. For example, let us take an example, and then we are going to observe the history of the food grains and population growth ratio in the form of tabular form. So let us take an example. Go through the textbook page number 105, and they are going to the, for example, say if you are having 4 members in a family, if you are having 4 members in our family group, so these 4 members can consume nearly 50 kgs of rice. Per month, these 4 members of family members are consuming the 50 kgs of food grains, that means rice. So approximately 12 months of, that means 1 year, they require nearly 600 kgs. If suppose we are taking only 25 kgs, we require the 300 kgs per month. So I mean that if suppose the family members are increased, our food requirements, food grains requirement also simultaneously increased. So, but not at all the land area, cultivated land area is not at all increased by increasing of these family members. And moreover, when the family members are increased, that means when the population is increased, obviously they have to occupy the land area, agricultural land area, and they are converted into the commercial land areas, and they are decreasing the land area. So the population rate is very high. The population rate is multiplying, but the food production is decreasing. So there is not at all equal to the population growth and food production. Just we have to look at a 4 or 5 decades the history or the past previous statistical information. Then we can understand about that what is the differences between the population growth and food production. Population growth and food production. Just we have to look at the textbook page number 105. Textbook page number 105. So when we go to the statistical information, please all of you go through the textbook page number 105 and look at the table which is represent the population growth and food production. Just they are given to the rate of growth of population and food grain production. See, it decades from 1961 to 71. Decade means 10 years. So duration of the 61-71, the population growth is 2.4. Food grain is also 2.83. Of course, the population growth is heavy in that 61-71 decade when compared to 71, 81, 91, 2001. When compared to all the decades, the highest population growth is present in the 61-71, 1961 to 71. So there is no family planning operation awareness among the people. So everyone is having more than 3 to 5 children. So the population growth is heavy during the decade of the 61 and 71. But while the population growth is heavy, but at the same time the Indian people or majority of the Indian people, they have to depend on the agriculture. At present we are having only 60%, but in those days 90% of the people depends upon the agricultural occupation. So that of course the population is heavy, the food production also more. So there is no food crisis in the decade 1961 and 71. Is it clear, children? So the ratio of food production and population growth is 1.18. Is clear, children? Next, 1971-81, See, population growth and food production like that 81, 91, 91, 2001, 2001 and 2011. So based on the tabular form of this statistical information regarding the population growth and food production, try to answer these sort of questions in page number 106. So the first question is, in which decade population growth is higher? As we discussed, the first decade, that means 1961 and 71. This is the decade which is having the highest number of population. Next, in which decade food grain production is higher? The same year. That means in which decade food grain production is higher? Food grain production. See, 3.13. That means in 1981 to 1991, when we are having that means 1970s, end of the 1970s, we are having the Green Revolution by father of the Green Revolution by M.S. Swaminathan. That means the hybrid technology. The hybrid grains are introduced. So the hybrid grains are introduced, especially in the wheat and these paddy. So we are getting the high yielding from 1 acre. So that is the thing. In 1981 and 1991, we are getting the highest food grain production. Next, what major differences did you find in the table? So while we are observing the table, we have to find out a clear information. So food production is not at all equivalent to the population growth. So when the population growth is increasing, the food production is not at all sufficient to meet the demand of the whole population growth, then obviously it forms the food crisis. So next, fourth question. Is food grain production is increasing according to the population growth? No, it's not at all. So next, in which decades production of food grains did not satisfy the needs of population? Yes, in 1991 to 2001, especially in 1991 to 2001, the population is very heavy. It is nearly, see, when we are coming to the table, in 1991 to 2001, 1.95 population growth, almost 2%. So 2, but the food grain production is only 1.1, and nearly 50%, half of the people, that means out of 2 persons, only 1 person is getting the food. That is the food crisis which we are facing in the 1991 to 2001. Is clear, children? So what will happen if the food production is not sufficient? As we discussed, it causes the food crisis. Next, the decade 1991-2001 shows the rate of food production was nearly half as compared to the population. What can you infer? What is your inference? That means a result from the decade when population growth was highest. So when the population growth was highest, so half of the people is lack of food. They are going to die. It is a very harmful situation to the population. Is clear, children? So the tabular form which clearly says about the population growth and food production. Then what is the solution? Even though how to overcome these problems, we are having only two sources. We have to increase the land area. If we are going to that seeking that first solution, if we have to increase the land area, that means we are cutting the trees. So that means deforestation. It causes another harmful effects. So it is not at all good. The second one is, in existing land area only, we are going to cultivate the huge number of grains. How? So what is our suggestions? They are asking our suggestions how to improve the grains, how to get the high yielding, better yielding in an existing land area. So that is the thing. So according to that the chapter challenges in improving agricultural products, we are having to go to the alteration of crops. We are having the alternation of crops. See, page number 107, they are giving that some of the suggestions how to overcome this situation. That is, increasing the area of cultivated land. It is not at all good. Increasing the production in the existing land area. Yes. Next, developing high yielding varieties like hybrid varieties by hybridization techniques. Next, alternating of the crops. We have to alternate crops. One time we have to go to the staple food like paddy or wheat or the main food. Next we are going to some pulses. which are increasing the fertility of the soil, alternation of crops or mixed crops. So at a time we are giving 2 lines and after 2 lines, so we are having to cultivate that mixed crops, combination crops. Next, cultivating the short term crops, and we are using the, instead of artificial fertilizers, we are going to the natural fertilizers like cow dung, vermicompost and panchagavya. So these are the alterations. So like this, when we are going to the alterations, all these alterations and using that science and technology, then only we are going to overcome this situation like food crisis. Thank you, children. Then next video we are going to continue the topic challenges in improving in agricultural products, like one by one. Thank you for watching this video. Just you go through the textbook reading, then you grasping the knowledge about the agriculture and agriculture related concepts. Thank you, children. Thank you very much.